Hi, you're listening to Abbacadabra Radio. This podcast is for my conscious creator friends, my manifesting besties. This is part stream of consciousness, part talking with people who love to talk about conscious creation, manifestation, spiritual things, anything in between. And it is my hope that through this podcast, I expand my own awareness and understanding of myself, and you guys do too. I am happy to have you guys here along for the ride. Hello, my conscious creator friends. Here we are back with yet another episode of Abbacadabra Radio. I'm Abby, your host, and I am so happy you're here. Before we get started, of course, you guys know, on my website, on abbacadabra.com, I have the blueprint, the 30-day manifestation method for revisiting your desire, the same scene of your desire, day in and day out, 2 times a day with a morning gratitude meditation, fully guided through it. That is available. I have 3 meditative hypnosises. One is for aligning with money, one is for aligning with love, and one is for identity shifting, for aligning with that 2.0 version of yourself that you've been waiting for the universe to tell you you can show up as it. This is going to tell you can show up as that. This is going to guide you into being that version of you and help you anchor into it. I also have a 3-day Opening Up to Money Masterclass virtual course. I have a timeline shifting audio, a guided timeline shift, and I have a conscious creation workbook, and you can sign up for one-on-one coaching so we can talk about what you're manifesting and help you manifest better, manifest more deeply. All of the above. And I also have a free mini manifestation crash course. So if that's where you want to start, that's a great place to start too. All of those are available on abbacadabra.com. I do want to apologize because I know it's been a good amount of time since the last episode. And this is really more of like I'm here to tell you guys that I'm still doing the podcast. Life is just busy. Things are busy. I don't want to be a broken record on here, and I know a lot of the times I am, so I do apologize that I have had like a gap of time, but like honestly, between the time I recorded the last podcast and now, it feels like I blinked, and now all of a sudden it's mid-July. Like what? How did that happen? We were at like early June. What? So this episode is just a little mindful refresher on everything we talk about. That's what this is. And then we will get back into having guests. We will talk about love. We will talk about money. We will talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So let's get started. The version of you that already exists, that is living their best life, that version of you is already created. That version of you is living their best life. It just might not be in the timeline that you're experiencing right now, and that doesn't mean that you'll never experience those things. It's just not the frequency, the fractal, the vibration that you are experiencing in this moment. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you never will. You absolutely can. If you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. The only thing that will stop you is your own belief. The only thing that will hinder you is your own mind. The only thing that will create the dramas and the chaos, believe it or not, you. It's you. And I can only say this because I have, over the last month, over the last year, over the last 30 years of my life, almost 30 years of my life, I've been a victim to my own drama. I've been a victim to my own thoughts. I've been a victim to my own lack-based beliefs. And I've seen time and time again, anytime that I really feel like I want to justify why I am where I am, if I want to make sure I tell people why I'm so angry, if I want to make sure people know exactly what I'm thinking and really try to drill it home why I'm the way I like, doing that is a very normal human response to like contrast. But doing that is going to keep you in that more. At least that's what I've found. That's what I've noticed. It's not until I decide I don't want to be in this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I need to go look at more fulfilling things. I need to go listen to more podcasts about this type of stuff. I need to record a podcast about this type of stuff. I need to get back into meditating. It's when I fall off the like woo-woo horse and dive back into like 3D reality that I'm like, oh, that's why I do that stuff. That's why that works so well. That's why I have a healthy mental diet. I get it now because, like I've said before, you fall asleep and wake back up over and over and over again. And it's just a never-ending process, and that's absolutely fine. I fell asleep for a little while over the last month, and now I'm waking back up. And something that I noticed, like you guys know I talk about mental diet, and I think it's really important to pay attention to the things that you're taking in, like on television, on TikTok, on YouTube, on any social media platform, because that stuff does affect you. I started rewatching This Is Us 2 weeks ago, I love that show. I watched it when it was on. I watched it all the way through. I know how it ends, but it is a show that is very heavy on the tragedy, heavy on the trauma, heavy on parent loss. Guess what? It doesn't work for me. I became more irritable. I became more sad. I was more likely to go for the drama. I was more likely to lean into tragedy. I was more likely to say, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And when I stopped consistently watching it, I stopped feeling that way. Don't get me wrong, I love that show. I wish I could keep watching it. This is a me thing. This is not a that show thing. Like, I have given myself permission because I'm watching it over and over again to start feeling that way. This is something that I'm navigating. This is something that is a me thing. You could watch that show and be like, I'm not affected by it at all. But I watch that show and I'm like, I want to feel the emotions. I want to feel the drama. I want to feel the grief because, like, I don't have a parent. So for me, I need to know that's not necessarily going to make me feel like I'm on top of the world. It's not going to make me feel like I can create my best life. It's not going to make me feel like I'm standing in my power. Generally speaking, it makes me feel the opposite. And then my mind is thinking the opposite. And now my vibration is doing the opposite. So guess what I'm acting like? Like everything's against me, like the world's falling apart, like it's dramatic, and like, I don't want that. And I'm making it sound a little more extreme than what was happening. It's not like anything terrible happened in my life, but like anything that was less than ideal, I was thinking would be worse than it was. I was building it up to be worse than it was. And this is me calling myself out, because if you don't call yourself out, you cannot create your reality. If you cannot take vibrational accountability, if you cannot take accountability for things showing up in your reality because of you, then creating your reality gets really, really hard. And I am telling you right now, as soon as you own the fact that things are the way they are because of you, changing it gets so much easier. It does take the pressure off. It does make you feel like, oh, it's just so simple. I can see why I acted that way. I can see why that happened. I can see how I was in that like mindset and just kept going and going and going. You have to let the reality roll off your back. And I'm not good at that. I'm working on it. And that's my theme for the next few months, is let reality roll off your back. My dad keeps telling me, like, you just have to let it roll off your back. You just have to let it roll off your back. Let it roll off your back. So I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna work on allowing things to be, allowing things to move. And like, I wanna talk about contrast for a second, and the idea of co-creation. So you're not new to manifestation if you're here, or maybe you are. Anyway, odds are you've probably heard the term co-creation before. And if you haven't, now you have. Co-creation, you are co-creating your reality with the universe. Two, you are not here to micromanage reality. You are not here to dictate what happens, how it happens, when it happens, why it happens. No, we don't get that. Because we are moving and shifting through millions of different realities of things that are happening, and we're just experiencing it. You are here for the experience. You are not here for the control. Remember that. You are here for the experience. You are not here for the control. Here for the experience, not here for the control. Do we have that? So when you can let go of needing things to be how you need them to be and allow reality to like do its thing, those things that you don't like so much, those things that you are going to tend to push against, they're going to move. They're going to move whether you push against them or not. But if you push against it, that movement, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to feel nice, and it might prolong how quickly it seems that thing moves through your reality. I had a moment a few days ago where I was pushing really, really hard against something, and in the midst of me pushing really hard against it and like creating like, this isn't going to work. It didn't end up happening. It moved on its own. But I spent a ton of time stressing out, and a ton of energy stressing out, and a ton of wasted mind space stressing out. So I don't need to be doing that. So I wanted to call myself out on those two instances just to show you, number one, I'm a human too. Number two, I'm moving through things too. Number three, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, drama's gonna happen. Yeah, not great things, contrast. Yeah, that stuff's gonna happen. Yeah, you're gonna show up in your not best way sometimes. It's gonna happen. It's not a life terrible thing. Like, all of that stuff is gonna move. I had an instance, I keep just saying, here's an instance I had, here's a thing I had, here's a thought I had, but it's true. The other day I was playing, it was nighttime, I was like getting ready to go to sleep. I was playing Uno on the computer, on like my phone. And I was like stressing out playing Uno, which is really weird. And I'm like, why am I stressing out? Why am I stressing out playing Uno with a computer? And that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, like, it's just a game. but we can make it mean so, like, it hit the point where I said, what am I making this mean right now? Like, I'm playing against a computer. I'm not even playing against a real person. Nobody even knows this is happening outside of me. And that's when I had the light bulb moment of, nobody knows the drama in your head until you say it. If you don't let the outside world in on the dramas of your mind because they're made up in your mind, those things stop happening. Those things stop growing. Those things stop expanding. Neville Goddard said that the dramas of our lives are psychological. They're made up in our heads. So I want y'all to just, when it comes to contrast and maybe a drama, I don't know why drama's like hot on my mind today. I really don't. I really don't know. But it is, so someone needs to hear this. When you get caught up in those things, just remember, like, nobody knows what's going on inside your head. So number one, if you need to communicate with people, communicate with people. Don't make up why you can't, just start communicating. Number two, if you keep it in your mind and you're able to shift past it and let it go and maybe start looking at it in a different perspective before you start spewing out to everybody and their mother why you're upset, why the drama's happening, why you're justified in how you feel, the likelihood that it's going to keep growing and expanding goes down. If you can, like, these psychological dramas that we make up, if you can just make light of them and say, okay, that's an option, but do I want that? Am I picking that for myself? No? Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's keep going. That's just some food for thought. I know this was a quick episode, but it is. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's like 90 degrees up here, and I have already had to wipe sweat from my back several times. So this is the episode. I love you guys so much. I'm happy I got to get on here, even if it was for a brief couple minutes. If you guys have topics you want me to cover, if you guys want to connect for any other reason, comment, email. The email's here. And until next time, this is Abby, signing off.